Well, good day, mates, as they would say in Australia. Hi, my name is Steve Plemons. I am the North American agent for Dynamic Suspensions, the Stabilizer. I'm here today to tell you about an innovation that has come to America. The Stabilizer spring is to help any vehicle that has leaf springs. In particular, here in the States, our trucks. And we have several brands. We have Ford, we have Chevrolet, we have Dodge, there's Jeep, there's lots of different trucks on our highways. What do they have a problem with? Why would they need help? Let's start with a half-ton truck. That's 1,000 pounds. I think we all understand that 1,000 pounds is a half-ton. If you take a standard truck as it comes from the factory and you put 1,000 pounds in the back of that truck, in the bed of it, typically it's not going to set level. It will go below level. And that also raises the front tires up a little bit and you lose a little bit of the weight and on the front, which means you lose traction. So that's an issue that would like to be dealt with. Also, if you're towing, when you put a trailer on the ball, it will squat you down in the back. If you are doing a fifth wheel, pulling a fifth wheel, it's going to squat you down in the back unless the springs are stiff enough to handle it. And typically, if the springs are stiff enough to handle that load, then it's not going to ride well when it's empty. There comes in where the stabilizer is. The stabilizer will help the vehicle ride good when it's empty, and it will decrease body roll. It helps the vehicle when it's loaded down with that weight. If it's a half-ton, it'll carry a half-ton with this stabilizer in place and stay level. If it's 3/4 of a ton, it will stay level, etc. And so on a 1 ton, that will accomplish that. And it reduces the body roll while doing that. So if you put that weight in it, you're going to stay up there. If you put a fifth wheel truck or trailer on the back of your truck, it will hold that up and stay level, and it will help reduce a whole lot of what we call chucking, which is when the truck is going over bumps and it's bumping up and down in the tailgate. Because of the stabilizer, it's going to help reduce that greatly. Also, if you're towing a camper on the ball, you will not need the stabilizer bars or equalizer bars as they're called to lift up the hitch weight and transfer it through the whole truck. Trucks were designed to carry the weight on the back axle in the back end of the truck. So how we want to help that out with the stabilizer. Let me go over the features of the stabilizer and why it's important and how it works. First of all, different than other springs, it's a half spring. If you were to visualize that the rear end is right where my arm is, the stabilizer, as you can see, is a half spring from the rear back. That's important because when a spring goes all the way across, when the weight is applied and pushes down back here on this shackle bolts, it will also go across and lift up on the front shackle bolts, and that's what will end up losing some traction on the front tires. But when it's a half spring and you push down back here, which transfers through and pulls on the bottom here and pulls this stabilizer down, it only works the rear end. So in essence, the front stays steady, only the rear moves up and down. That's very important. The next thing, we have a parabolic design. That is known as thick to thin, and the proper language is parabolic. Why is that important? Well, this will give you a variable rate of strength. Also, when we're first hooked up, as you can see here, and these shackles move, if this truck spring, using this as an example, pushes down, it pulls right here, and it's going to be riding on this thin part of the spring. Well, that's going to be softer because it's thin, so you don't get a hard, bumpy, stiff ride. But as more weight is applied and pushed down, then it's going to get into the thicker part of the spring, which is going to give you more resistance, and it will handle the load. So you have a variable amount of load you can carry there. Then the third thing is these pins, not on this display here, but the pins that come with the boxes are greasable pins. So you'll have a 10.8 hardened grade steel bolt in each of these, and they'll be greasable. So it will virtually last forever. So there's your three main functions of that, is you have the parabolic design, you have the greasable pins, and it's a half spring from the rear end back. Now that's the main features about the stabilizer that's different than the others. What are some of the benefits of doing that? Well, I already mentioned the truck rides good empty. It has less body roll. I mentioned that it works well when you're towing a fifth wheel camper. But let's talk about a normal travel trailer when you're towing that. With the stabilizer on your truck, there's nothing else to hook up. You back up to your trailer, you put it on the ball, lock it in place, hook up the wires, and go. And you do not have swaying, because the way that a vehicle sways is that the trailer behind the vehicle is going to go in one direction and tug on that ball, and it would try to dip that corner down a little bit. And it takes a little movement before the springs would respond and push back up. When they do, it's going to send the trailer to the other side. And then it repeats and you get a pendulum going. With a stabilizer in place, because when it's installed, it's preloaded, and it means we're riding on this spring already. When that trailer moves to one side and tries to dip the corner, it don't dip, so the trailer stays straight behind it. So semis can pass you, you can pass semis, crosswinds, and you should not have any sway in that. So that's another tremendous benefit of it. So the advantages of, let's talk about towing a little bit to the RV world. The advantage of having the stabilizer in place of an equalizer bar is it's only good when you're towing the camper. The stabilizer is always working. Empty truck, loaded truck, or towing. Huge advantage to that. Also, very cost effective. Airbags cost 2, 3, 4 times more than the stabilizer. The stabilizer is priced, installed, competitively, same, maybe possibly a little less than your equalizer bars when they're installed. And yet, once it's installed and it's on there, you don't have to do anything. It's always working. So there's a little introduction into the stabilizer. If you look on our website, you can see an installation video, but this video is to introduce you to it and tell you why it's a good idea. We have approximately 30 million trucks in the U.S. and maybe Canada that needs a little help now and again. All of them could use a little help. The stabilizer will do it and maintain giving you a good, smooth ride. So thank you for listening.